Welcome adventurers to Legends of Amberland II guide, and today we're gonna talk about character creation. We're gonna go through all classes, we're gonna talk about roles those classes will play in your group, how to position your group correctly, about everything that you need to know to make your adventure successful. And I guess the first thing you need to know is to how to position your party members. Friends, do you see this red arrow on the map? That's how your party formation will look like. So the head of the arrow, this part, will be slot number 3, 4 and 5. All enemies will try to attack these slots first, so it will be a very wise idea to put your toughest warriors in those slots, who can handle plenty of damage, especially in the slot number 4. Better to put a tanky character here. Less likely your enemy's gonna attack slot number 2 and slot number 6. This is a perfect place for mixed supportive classes. And of course most weakest classes like healers and wizards must be in slot 1 and 7. Very rarely you will see an enemy attacking those slots, so it's a perfect place for your weakest characters. Now let's go through all common classes, and then we will pay special attention to those bottom classes that are special for certain race. So, knights. Knights have the most encumbrance, and that allow them to wear the heaviest armor, and that makes them a perfect tanks. Slot number 4 definitely is for knights. The best races for knights will be mountain dwarves and hill dwarves. Only strength, only toughness. Or you can choose a human Highlander, also a very good stats. Now warrior class, yes, they will not be able to equip the heaviest armor, but they will be your main damage dealer. And believe me, warriors can do plenty of damage, just huge amount. The races will be the same as for the knight, so human Highlander, or a dwarf, mountain dwarf, or hill dwarf. Archer, it's a fighter who have some damage dealing spells in his possession, and believe me, those magic part of Archer, just don't worse it. The further you play, the more fighterish your archer will become, and soon you will forget about magic and will use only fighting skills. So I advise you to make a fighter out of archer right from the beginning, and he can be literally anyone you want. Human, half-elf, cause why not if you decide to take this magic side, or even a dwarf. But the very interesting class, it's a fighter magic user, but you know what? Bards are completely badass fighter. Mainly they will be your magic users, supportive class. They will possess plenty of healing spells, powerful songs that will give positive buffs to all your party members, and in the end they will be able to cure conditions, to take a negative effects from your party member. It will be extremely useful. Half-elf or elf will be an excellent choice for bard. Now we have wizard and healer class. While wizard is your main magical damage dealer class, healer will be focused on keeping your party members alive. Both of those classes are very interesting, they are just essential, and in my opinion you just must have at least one wizard and one healer. But that's just my opinion. So both of those classes can be half-elf, highborn heritage, cause it will give you a little bit of willpower and mana point per level. Or it will be much better if you decide to make a pure elf class, especially grey elves, cause they have additional willpower and knowledge points. It will be very good for any magic users. Now let's talk about alternative non-classical classes. Every race will have some of them, and we will start from human. So human, no matter what kind of human, can be a champion or troubadour. Champion, in description it literally said, it will be a knight who can't equip the best armor in the game, but as a bonus he can deal additional damage to sorcerers and warlocks. Of course, dealing additional damage to mages is good, but what sense in knight if he can't equip the best armor? Very weird class, my friends, very weird. Troubadour. This is more interesting class. It's a good alternative to Bard, cause Troubadour will have less healing spells, but more supportive magic. Troubadour will have less spells in general, but if it happens so that you already have a few healers in your team, you can change Bard for Troubadour without any regrets. Very interesting class in my opinion. Now let's take a look what special classes High Elf can offer. So, it will be a champion and a sage. We already talked about a champion and I found this class not that good. Actually, completely worthless. But again, it's only my opinion. The second class will be Sage, and it's a wizard with limited access to healing spells. What you will get will be something in between a crippled wizard and crippled healer. From many point of view, Sage is not good at all, unless you want to create some kind of weird party from 6 mages and 1 warrior, something like that. Otherwise, there are no sense to taking Sage in your party. Elf, what kind of special classes you can offer? So it will be a sage, we just talk about it, and Mage Knight. Mage Knight is very interesting class, cause basically it will be a magic user with ability to wear better armor. And never forget, because of his elvish nature, he will receive less health point. There will be no way to develop mage and fighter at the same time. So you will have to choose a side. And I strongly suggest you to choose magic side, cause as a fighter, you will never gonna mount in nothing. You will be a bad fighter. And finally we're gonna talk about dwarf. So dwarf can be a troll slayer or battlesmith. Troll slayer is one of my favorite classes in the game. It's basically a warrior with additional health who can get guaranteed critical hits with all kind of trolls. And if you equip your warrior with axes, you will get additional critical damage. Oh, the damage to trolls will be just insane. The problem is, there are not that many trolls in the game, but nevertheless, Troll Slayer has his limitation. He will not be able to use shield and will have 1 accessory slot less. It's a huge minus, believe me. There are not that many equipment slots in the game, and suffering from losing 2 of those slots. Oh, I recommend this class purely for role-playing reasons. Battlesmith in some way can be compared to Archer, cause basically it will be a fighter who is able to cast some fire spells and very limited supportive buffs. But don't let that magical side fool you, he will be a second row fighter, and I suggest you to take either Battlesmith or Archer in your party. Now let's talk a little bit about attributes. All magic users, despite the class, will need knowledge and willpower. One is how powerful your spells will be, and the second, how many mana you will have. So you will need them both. As for fighter classes, tanks will need strength and toughness, and damage dealers will need strength and dexterity. And basically it's all you need to know to begin your adventure in Legends of Amberland II. And if you wonder what party I created for myself, well, let me show you. So, the first one is Healer, Half-Elf. The second is Archer, Human. Third one will be a Dwarf, Troll Slayer. In the middle, Knight, Human. He takes the most of the damage. The next one will be Warrior Dwarf, Bard, Half-Elf, and finally Wizard, Elf. And by the way, friends, tell me, what party you create for yourself? Let me know in the comment section below. With that said, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video.